why did I get in? Two things.
Yeah. Everybody's getting out. Why'd you get in?
They're getting out because they're weak, right? And I've been in the real world. And if you were doing the right things, you wouldn't be thinking about getting out. I'm building a business from scratch, right? I'll do like 15, 16 million this year, which stinks, right? It's not what I want to be at all. But that's all referral. Okay, that's all just making the calls, doing the work, and bringing value, and making sure that you get those relationships that grow, right? The best connectors are multipliers. The reason I got in, though, is you plant the seeds, you harvest, and then there's winter. I don't want to get in when everything's already planted and good. The time to grow is now. As people are leaving, as weak hands are leaving, as realtors feel fear, right, about their business and NAR and everything, it's the best place to start. This is the best place because now every hour you spend, not just the ROI, every hour you spend at ROT on building relationships, when it changes, and things will always change, you're set up for exponential growth. You have to weather the storm. You have to have a plan that you have faith in and execute. And it's the best time to start is when things are going horrible. Never on the top, because then you're not going to do the hard work. You're just taking orders. You're an order taker. You're not going to have to bring any value. And when things change, it's worse than repeating, 16 single years. Now you're going to go back and not know what to do because you didn't have to do the right things to succeed. You just got to vet. Don't be an order taker. You can be a hunter or a gatherer.
Hey guys, Wally, Elibiary. All right, so what is 24/7 mindset? Most times when you hear 24/7, you're thinking what? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just grinding, hustling. I learned over time a 24-year career in mortgage and multiple other businesses that I own is, unfortunately, you'll get burnt out. I became an absent father, I became an absent husband, and I became a poor business leader because I was trying to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to build a business, maintain a business. When I learned how to work smarter, not just harder, by doing things the best way it could be done, instead of just simply doing my best, I learned how to work only 24 hours a week, 7 months a year, while I got paid from the business residually 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can do the same. Welcome to the show. All right. Super duper excited about today's show for 24/7 Mindset. All right. We got Martin Lorenzen, which I think is a super cool way to pronounce someone's name. So I had to make sure I got the cheat code from him to make sure I pronounce that correctly. So Martin, I really appreciate your time coming on the 24/7 Mindset show.
Wally, thank you for having me. And it's a common misconception. It gets morphed into Lorenzo. It's Lorenzen.
Lorenzen. All right.
Don't want to be that guy, but thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no, it's I can barely pronounce my own name, so it's always a challenge pronouncing others. So
hey,
got it.
Understood.
All right. So who is Martin?
So Martin's a new loan officer.
Okay.
This is my second year. My background was in financial derivatives trading, stock trading, options market making. Retired young, figured out what am I going to do? I'm young. It was absolutely miserable. Don't ever retire young. And I bumped into one of my best friends. We're on a bike ride and he goes, you should check out what my brother does, who is a loan officer. I think you'd like it. So we started talking and it just went from there. It's been good. Right? New guy. It's fun business, easy business to know what to do, hard business to know to do the work for most people.
Yeah. I learned a long time ago, business is simple, not easy. Simple,
yes,
not easy. And when you look at it that way, you understand you need to do what you should do what you need to do, not what you want to do. And I think that's the difference between a amateur loan officer and a professional loan officer. Most loan officers that are amateurs, they do what they want to do. If they don't want to prospect that day, they don't prospect. They feel like prospecting that day, they prospect. Whereas a professional does on a daily basis what they need to do. They understand here's a makeup of a professional loan officer. Here's a makeup of dollar productive activities. Here's a makeup of structure. This is what I need to follow. Once I do these 4, 5, 6 tasks that of what I need to do today, then I can go have fun and do something separate or different. But there's a lot of time, and I was teaching and coaching a loan officer this morning that, the difference between a professional and an amateur. Professionals understand that prospecting time on their calendar is a non-negotiable time, where an amateur thinks that if they have time, they'll prospect.
It shocks me by how many people don't really prospect. I mean, my mentor, right? I have 3 mentors in the business who are realtors, and they're very successful, different ways, right? Each of them. And if you look at the original Mike Ferry approach, those are the people that are still doing well today because they're ironclad to that calendar. They prospect, they know their one thing, they follow up on their one thing, and they practice at getting better at that one thing all the time.
Yeah, so let's unpack that. How is that translated to your world, being a newer loan officer, which I love that you're a newer loan officer, but how is that translated to your world?
When I was making the transition, right, I wasn't in a hurry, so I wanted to sit down and do things right. One of the things you always bring up, it's ready, aim, fire. Most of our personalities are successful in arenas like this. It's fire, aim, maybe I'll get ready, right? We just hop in and do it. But seeing people who are already successful saying, what would you do if you were me? And what does your day look like? And hey, do you mind if I do the heavy lifting with you?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I prospect with my realtors. If we're doing an open house, we'll door knock together. One of my golden rules, I have a few of them, is I'm never going to ask someone to do something that I wouldn't do myself. Okay. So some people, they just, they appreciate it. People who are winners appreciate when people are doing actions that are winning. And there's no better way to build rapport and trust.
Absolutely. And what I love so much about that, it's again, simple, not easy, but I want the viewers and listeners to understand that what you just shared is absolutely brilliant, that you prospect with your referral partners. There's an unfortunate misconception in the mortgage industry that we just sit on our hands and we just wait for realtors to refer us clients that we just jump in and close. And I think, there's probably some of those are layup deals, but the most successful loan officers, the ones that do the door knocking with the agents, they do the open houses with the agents, they believe in the 6-lane highway, and then they built a referral network back and forth. And, the ability to be able to understand that there's a bigger, more efficient way of doing business versus trying to grind your way to the top.
I think most coaching systems are either a cult of personality where people can get competing, they get stuck in it, right? Almost like a cult where, hey, this is my friend circle, I'll pay more money, I'll stick around. It's a social reward and the actual benefits can leave. I really appreciate that when you put everything together, here's the coursework. You can come to the coaching if you want, and here it is. There's no strings, there's no upsells. Anyone who's been in entrepreneur, if you were getting a plan from somebody and there were no strings attached, you wouldn't believe it. Because you're going to pay, if you buy a franchise, how much are you going to pay for the average franchise, right? To get a plan that works. You're giving out the plan that works and you can see it, right? I mean, look at how I met you. I just bumped into you at a training event where you're doing everything you said. I had no idea who you were and you're kind enough to speak to me. And, hey, Deborah Bird's exactly what to say. Yeah. If you haven't been, you have to go. But you never want to learn from a dry land swimmer, right? If I'm on a sinking ship, I want to make sure my skills work, right? And usually if you want to look at a top level producer, at least in every other business I've seen, it's incredibly secretive. And you're just an open book and there's no manipulation. You're just, here it is. Ask me the questions. And I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. And I don't do that with everyone. I value people that value me. And I've learned over my adulthood to go where I'm celebrated, not where I'm tolerated. And, in the 24/7 mindset community, I feel very celebrated. So the more I give back, the more people implement and grow. But I really enjoyed your maturity when we talked. I think it was maybe a month or 2 months or so ago, something along those lines. Because you're reaching out to me asking for, hey, can we do one-on-one coaching? Remember that conversation?
Yes, sir.
And the average coaching client's probably 2,500 a month, $3,000 a month, somewhere in that range. And I'd be willing to bet 99.9% of all coaches would have said, sure, great. Give me your $3,000 a month. Here's where you sign up. Dot, dot, dot. But what I liked about your maturity was I said, hey, since you're a newer loan officer, if I try to coach you, there's going to be too much of a gap between where I am 26 years in the game and where you are. Let's build a foundation with you with my courses. And it's a 52 video course. There's scripting, there's implementation tactics, da da da. And then from there, I want you to implement those. If you can implement those, then I've got a foundation to work with. And I can help you build the first floor, second floor, third floor. Then we can do the one-on-one coaching. But I think, were you kind of surprised that I said, hey, I really appreciate you wanting to give me money, but thank you, but no thank you?
Oh, completely. Well, and it's in the course, you talk about asking questions that have impact, are insightful. And, jokingly, I said it was like a Zen koan. You gave me a question. What are you going to do next? How are you going to go an inch wide, a mile deep? And I sat there, and if you've been through any type of self-development or training, when you get a question like that, it's really, you're supposed to sit there and really answer it, right? I have my insightful answer. I go, well, you're showing me what to do. I just need to gut it and just do it the way you're doing it, because why am I going to reinvent the wheel? Because it's not going to be as good in most probability. And why would I waste the time? And then I kind of you have that ego battle with yourself. And I'm like, he's already given me the answer. Just do the work.
Yeah.
Ask me questions about the work. And so thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and also I think it made more sense financially for you. If you look at, $2,500, $3,000 for monthly coaching versus, hey, here's a course. It's got everything I'm going to teach you anyway. And it's completely documentable. You can watch the same lesson 5 times if you needed to, or you can reread the script 5 times if you wanted to. And it's only $997, which is a no-brainer. And hey, if you grab this course and you think of full of baloney, well, there's a 30-day full money back guarantee. You've got no loss. So what I try to build it as is, hey, you've got all the upside and 0 of the downside. But what I really appreciated about our conversation was that you accepted that, and it wasn't like, well, hey, Wally doesn't like me, or hey, this is what the hell kind of business person is this? You understood the maturity aspect of, hey, I don't want to steal money from you. If I don't want to, it would be wrong of me, lack of integrity of me, of bringing you on for a coach, and I can't make impact because there is no foundation built.
100%. And this is the first time I've seen that in the mortgage industry, right? Unless it's like a one-off event. And, because I always look and say, hey, what's there? Where does it go? Why are we doing what we do? I like systems. I like to see we all have an A where we're at. We have a B we're trying to get to. And you answer the questions. There's no hidden agenda. It's just, here it is. Here's exactly what I do. Here's the results I had. If you're having issues, let me know. Exactly.
So the first time that you and I connected, was that like at the Todd Duncan mortgage boot camp or productivity school?
No, it was right before. And I was sitting in a room, and I was a big fan of Exactly What to Say with Phil Jones.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was Deborah Bird, and she was hosting the event, right? And we were the first people getting trained in exactly what to say for realtors, for mortgage people. And you were in the room. Everyone else was, in Todd's program. I was the outsider. Everyone was so great, by the way. I got to thank him again. It's the only time I've been an outsider, and you did not feel like an outsider. And you were there, and we're talking. You were, you and Caleb were in the trenches with everyone. There was no big I's and little U's.
Yeah.
And everything you said, it hit. and it was insightful. And I'm like, he's been here before and thought about this. And they go, his book's coming out. When you're out of the room, they're like, oh, I'm like, wow, who's this guy? Like, and they're like, his book's coming out, because I'm naive, right? I just said, hey, I know this, and it's like, that's Wally. Everyone's like, that's Wally. I'm like, I'm not a Todd Duncan guy. Dave Savage, right? I love Dave Savage. Saw your stuff and was like, oh wow, this guy's here. And I go, so I bought the book when I was leaving.
No way.
To fly home from I was, as soon as it came out, I bought it. I speed read, so I'll speed read something, I'll outline something, I'll listen to something. It's kind of the way I learn. And I was like, it was incredible. I mean, because it's just all out there. A lot of things are a loss leader to drop you in a funnel. As salespeople, we're always cognizant of this. And I'm like, do I want to go down another funnel? Regretfully, a friend of mine had talked me into signing up some other coaching, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to call these guys as soon as I'm done. Otherwise, I would have been in the first course, because after reading the book, I sat and thought, and I'm like, okay, I actually, coming from finance, I'm like, I know some financial advisors. I bought my first house from referrals from my financial advisor to one of the biggest real estate agents in Chicago at the time and one of the biggest mortgage people. I'm like, why am I not doing this? This is just, why? And so I have no problems cold calling. So I had a list. I called my friends to start out with and say, hey, what's your relationship look like? And then instead of ready, aim, fire, take the course, do it right, I just hopped in, right? So second year, I picked up 6 deals, and I probably had about 12 good leads. I'm trying to differentiate between leads and referrals as you present it. So transactions I would not have had.
Yeah.
And I've been able to refer this week alone out 4 people to financial advisors.
All right. Let's pause for a second, because that's an awesome testimonial to your hard work. So you're a loan officer at second year in the business, and within 1 calendar week, you got 4 referrals out to same financial advisor or multiple different financial advisors?
Multiple. I'm still in the part where I'm not round robining. I'm like, I think you'd be a good fit for this person.
Yeah. No,
right?
I think it's brilliant. Date around. I mean, there's no need to get married with a financial advisor right off the bat. And when you date around like that, it's a conversation of, hey, I've sent you understand if you sent them a referral and they're not referring you back, well, we're not going to go on a second date. Or maybe go on a second date once, but let them know, hey, you got to refer me back. And if they continue not to refer you back, then don't go on a third date.
Well, the best thing that you teach is how to get accountability with your partners, not just for you, but for me. Because if I'm very relational, I'm not transactional. I can be, but if I get transactional, like I'm that high D, low C person, I just don't like me. I like me helping others a lot better than I like me just trying to win, something I've learned over the road. So when I was speaking to the financial advisor, I met one yesterday, right? And she's far away. So I try to spread my people out, because Chicagoland, much like Dallas-Fort Worth, is a very big area. And she's like, well, you're going to drive an hour to meet me for breakfast? I'm like, sure, I'll meet you at 7 a.m. for breakfast. She's like, you're going to have to leave at 6. I'm like, one good relationship? So you're telling me I have to drive for breakfast and I'm going to talk on the phone doing business? Like, what's the big deal? And she's like, really? I said, yeah, because we really hit it off on the phone. And she had already sent over her son, right? I'd sent her referrals. And I brought it down at the end of the conversation. I said, it's like going on a good first date. You get really excited, but I don't want to lose that excitement. What do I need to do to be your best referral partner? What types of people what's your preferred partner? Like, is it an accountant? What do I have to do to become, because I want to help your business grow. So tell me who you like and what it was and how we're going to have accountability on the process. I'm condensing the conversation.
No. I mean, I think also what I want to make sure the viewers can understand is when what he's kind of going a little detail on, but to make sure it's really, really important. A great question that we teach in the 24/7 Mindset Academy is you always want to ask your referral partners, your number one referral source that you have now, Mr. Financial Advisor, tell me what industry are they in? 9 out of 10 times, a financial advisor will tell you the number one referral source is a tax strategist or a CPA. And when you understand that, and you understand that's where they're going to go in the conversation, I reference of many sitting on the financial advisor and say, hey, I'd love to kind of understand your number one referral source out there for the last, say, 12, 24 months comes from what industry? Because I know it's usually CPAs or tax strategists. First question out of their mouth, a lot of the times, like, how do you know that? Well, I'm here to add value to you as a partner. For me to do that, I've got to go. I would have had to study the top financial advisors nationwide to understand what's the best way to build a financial advisor practice that's built on effectiveness and efficiency. And that's a book I read, which is called The Millionaire Financial Advisor. There's a series. It's Millionaire Financial Advisor, Millionaire Financial Advisor Team, Millionaire Financial Advisor Firm. And it helps you understand the different dynamics from a solo person to a team to an actual firm, a multiple person company. So when you study them, you're able to understand who their biggest referral partners are. Then you become the ability to be able to be the gatekeeper to refer them who they want.
And it's really funny. She's a very, very great person, right? And I said, well, what really motivates you? And she's like, hey, I have a team of women. I'm married. I try to make sure that women get involved. Says, I see a lot of bad situations where the husband may have sold their business, the wife has the money, but she doesn't know about money. So it's big on education. And coming back to what you taught, I said, hey, a friend of mine, she runs the Women's Western Suburban Realty Association. Would you like to connect with her to speak? Right? Because she was hey, yeah, that'd be great. And they hit it off well. And really being that connector is really what's key. And setting ways and parameters to follow up, because we've all been in a relationship where you think you really hit it off, a business relationship, and it could fizzle just because business is slow, or you don't. Usually it's myself, right? You didn't follow up right. You didn't bring enough value. How do you stick in? Did you define the relationship? And having to learn this by trial and error could take a couple years, to say the least, or some people aren't going to get it. So thank you for just putting it out there, because the other party feels the same way, and then they're happy.
A great mentor of mine that you brought up earlier, Todd Duncan, asked me once. It was about 10 years ago. He asked me, how many years have I been in the business? And I said back then it was 16 years. I said, yeah, I've been in the business 16 years. And he goes, have you been in the business 16 years, or have you been in the business 1 year 16 times? And you talk about questions earlier that put you on your heels. Well, that knocked me 10 feet back, because I was the loan officer that was in the business 1 year 16 times. And it started understanding the power of the compound effect. So then it starts, you put two years together, and the 1 year builds on the next year. Then you put 3 years together, and the 1 year built, the 2 years build on the third year. And each year becomes a building block for the next year that you're wanting to build and grow, if you understand how to build towards the future with consistency, which is obviously, I'd rather be in the business 16 years of compound effect versus 1 year 16 times. So what I like most about your development, Martin, is I can confidently say that you're 2 years in the business instead of 1 year 2 times.
Thank you.
That makes sense? Yeah, I think 100%. You want to understand what your trajectory is going to look like. You want to understand where you're going to be, your momentum, and where you're going to take it. Just make sure you're going to be in the business for 3 years. So 2025, as that year comes around, make sure you're building the foundation for 2026. 2026 comes around, make sure you're building the foundation for 2027. And before you know it, you wake up 5 years from now, your first 5 years in the business, you've accomplished more than what most people will do in a 25-year career.
You have to have a plan, work the plan, and that's what exponential growth looks like, right? Oh. People think it's shot out of nowhere. Like, oh, how'd this person? No, It's all that hard work now when things are slow and people aren't doing the things that matter. You're building that base and multiplying and growing that base now. So when it turns around and people go, what happened? Well, they were busy repeating their same year.
Yeah.
And when you stick entropy in that system, you're doing the same thing and making less. Maybe you're working a lot more and making less, but are you doing the money making activities and being a multiplier? That's the word we use in the course, correct?
Yep.
The connector, right? How do you argue with that? And if you're not doing it, why? Why are you not doing that? I mean, because that's brilliant.
Yeah, I love that. I think when, becoming a multiplier loan officer. So if you listeners don't know what Martin means, so we teach in the 24/7 Mindset Academy how to become a multiplier loan officer. Most loan officers are addition loan officers. What that means is they go to a realtor, get a referral, go do a good job, go back to the realtor. It's just a one-lane highway. When we get a referral from our realtors, we turn around and refer it out 4 different ways. We refer it out to CPA, financial advisor, family will attorney, insurance agents. And if you follow the model, you'll get a minimum of 2 referrals back. So 2 referrals back plus the one that you already got, that's 3 referrals. You become a multiplier of business. You get to 3x your income, 3x your business, 3x your volume by just adopting the mindset of refer out 4, get back 2, and to follow the process of doing that.
And you're touching so many lives.
Yeah. Well, you actually have a business that has a purpose. You actually have a business that's making an impact. You actually have a business that holds value in the eyes of the consumer versus having commission breath.
Commission breath is the worst. Oh, here's the other one that's phenomenal to all the listeners, right? Talking to Wally, and we're in class, and he, has one of those questions that you're like, oh, what? Like, how am I going to deal with this? He goes, you say that we want clients for life. How are you staying in your client's life? And I'm like, my Lord, do I suck at this? Right? I was like, because I call my clients, right? If I disc reference, it's because we did a lunch and learn last night for 10 realtors, right? Holler out to Frank Moncho, great realtor, great person. And his team is all about training, right? They're Keller Red through and through. And I'm a 99D, I'm like a 10C, right? I'm also a high I, 87 or something, 87. And it's like, I have no problem getting on the phones because I'm like, you're telling me I can call people and make money? My old business, I had to be willing to lose $1 million in a day to make money. I'm like, this is great. I can't get my face ripped off. But how are you going to stay in someone's life that way? How are you going to help them grow? The financial advisor is the true trusted advisor for a lot of people because they're there over time. I'm saying this, I had a financial advisor for 20 years, then we had an issue, and now FINRA is looking for him. Whole different thing. But I get the business, right? I was in finance. We traded our own money. We didn't trade for clients, but I've had money under management since early 2000.
Okay.
And your breakdown of the industry and who to talk to and why, if someone's just shooting from the hip, which we all are shooting from the hip, right? You're probably talking to the wrong type of financial advisors.
Yep.
And your breakdown of, hey, insurance, wealth management, it's fabulous. Small business advisors. I mean, it's, you just put it out there. It was great.
That's awesome. All right. So I'm going to give you the closing thoughts here in a second, but as we kind of wrap up the show, what I want to talk about, what's Martin going to accomplish in the following year, which is 2025, that he's struggled accomplishing in 2024?
I am a little nervous with technology, right? Because I'm a doer. So it's my main goal at the end of this year is incorporating the processes that you lay out and embracing the technology. I already have a commitment to expand my database by 2,300 people.
Nice.
Hey, another great agent. So Hale, you're my number one guy. You got me in the business. Much appreciated. And doing what you do, because I need to bring value to the people I work with. and using a proven process, right out of traction, a proven process with accountability to hit those goals, multiplying the data, being able to multiply that database and bring value to everyone involved. That's really, things only work one way, and that's the right way. Everything else has its own reason why it doesn't work. And you really bring home together the whole mortgage suite coach, right? I've seen people use HomeBat. Very few of them are using it right. Very few people are saying, here, you want lead spend? Well, let's merge our database and we're going to use Boomerang. Done right, it is so powerful. Your numbers, you lay out the numbers to us. It's amazing. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. So there's so many people that, got out of the mortgage business. And unfortunately, with, rates jumping up from 2% to 8%. But if you've been in the business 2 years now, you got in late 2022?
Yep.
Yeah. So explain to us, why on God's green earth would you get in an industry that is going from like 200,000 loan officers down to 70,000 loan officers nationwide? And why would you get to an industry that's shrinking in this chapter of your life? Like what? And then the follow-up question about is how, or go ahead, answer that question.
Let me answer that, because otherwise my ADD, I'll shoot off.
Yeah,
walls. I'm not taking notes. I'm sorry. Like I live by these, and at the end of every week, I get rid of everything that's bad, rip it out, throw it away. So why did I get in? Two things.
Yeah. Everybody's getting out. Why'd you get in?
They're getting out because they're weak, right? And I've been in the real world, and if you were doing the right things, you wouldn't be thinking about getting out. I'm building business from scratch, right? I'll do like 15, 16 million this year, which stinks, right? It's not what I want to be at all, but that's all referral. Okay. That's all just making the calls, doing the work, and bringing value, and making sure that you get those relationships that grow, right? The best connectors are multipliers. The reason I got in though is, you plant the seeds, you harvest, and then there's winter. I don't want to get in when everything's already planted and good. The time to grow is now. As people are leaving, as weak hands are leaving, as realtors feel fear, right, about their business and NAR and everything, it's the best place to start. This is the best place, because now every hour you spend, not just the ROI, every hour you spend at ROT on building relationships, when it changes, and things will always change, you're set up for exponential growth. You have to weather the storm. You have to have a plan that you have faith in and execute. And it's the best time to start is when things are going horrible. Never on the top, because then you're not going to do the hard work. You're just taking orders. You're an order taker. You're not going to have to bring any value. And when things change, it's worse than repeating, 16 single years. Now you're going to go back and not know what to do, because you didn't have to do the right things to succeed. You just got to fed. Don't be an order taker. You could be a hunter or a gatherer.
Yeah, it reminds me of a good quote I learned a long time ago. Everybody wants to eat, but not everyone wants to hunt. Everyone wants to eat, but not everybody wants to hunt. If you learn to hunt, you'll always eat. So
and you can never gather.
Yeah,
once it's in your blood, it's all you can do.
You got it.
Where are you going to go, right? I mean, when you say like when someone's leaving, I'm like, what are you going to go do? What business can you find that you can buy a roadmap from a proven winner for $1,000, pick up your phone, go someplace, and learn how to make legitimate money, right? And if you had to buy that, what would people pay for that? If you could take it and make it a franchise and put it out, what would it be worth? It's a lot more than what you're selling it for, right? The industry's not that bad. You have to be willing to do the work.
So everybody understand, Martin just said, hey, the client concierge system is going to go from $997 to $9,997. He's increased the price for everyone else.
I don't want you to sell it to anyone else. That's a competitor in me. When I see it, I'm like, this is too good. I'm like, he's just laying it all out.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's one of these things. I don't know. I think, if you look at it, I've heard from mentors before in the past that I am beyond very ignorant and naive, that I've broken down everything that's made me successful and I'm handing it to all my competitors. I don't know. I just don't see it that way. And I've thought about it a lot. I've prayed about it a lot. I've journaled about it a lot. And especially before I even wrote the book and broke everything down, before I built the academy and broke everything down. There's a part of me that wants to see the industry improve its quality of life and increase their income. And then one of the mottos in the book, I talk about, building a 6-lane highway or focusing on the client concierge system allows you to double your income and double your time off. So if I can help improve the industry to help loan officers double their income and double their time off, I just improve quality of life across the board. That's why I did it.
Well, it's not for the money, because you can be charging a lot more. I kept looking for the hook, Wally. I was like, there has to be the upsell. Where's the upsell? I'm like, there's no upsell. It's all here. I'm like, what am I missing? I started to get worried. I'm like, what else is there? And I mean, of course, it's the hard work and the practice, right?
I'm not the greatest at funnels and upsells and downsells, and then you understand this digital marketing space. You sell somebody something for $1,000, the next thing they're going to get hit up for is a $5,000 package. Then they get hit up for a $25,000 workshop. Then they get hit up for $3,000 a month of recurring, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, it's just not right. I mean, I don't. It's just not necessarily stealing. I just feel like I'm stealing. Like here's an affordable price. It's enough for me to keep the lights on. It's low enough for someone to be like, okay, absolutely no brainer. I'm definitely going to do this. But no, there's been a lot of pressure to increase the price on my shoulders, and I don't know. Maybe I'll regret it one day. But right now, I'm happy with where it's at.
Well, everyone, that's one of the reasons when I said, hey, what other courses do you guys have coming? I'm like, they're not going to stay this price. I'm like, I paid a lot more for a lot less.
Yeah.
And it's something you're going to study, work around. It's made to be, even if you weren't here, right? It's that concept of building a business. You've left something that puts all the pieces together. Because when we look at it from the outside in, those of us who don't have the success in the business as you, it's really easy to make that mistake on how you're putting things together. And that can be years. That can be losing relationships, right? I never want to fumble the ball. Everything has to grow if you're going exponentially. It means it has to be smooth, has to be done right, has to be done to the highest standards, right? Whatever standards we have.
Absolutely.
And if I don't have to think about the plan and just execute, how easy is that? How easy is it?
Awesome, bud.
I picked up 7 deals because of your book, okay, that shook my not so bright head around and said, why aren't you doing this? And so thank you. I really appreciate it. And it, motivated me, and my business continued to grow because of it. And it also invigorated me. So thank you.
Well, make that your closing comment. So tell the viewers about those 7 deals that you picked up from using the 6-lane highway.
So when I originally bought the book and embraced the concept of the 6-lane highway, before I got into coaching, I just kind of hopped in. 7 deals, referrals, new relationships, all from that book, from the idea of the 6-lane highway. And it's going to be a lot more than that next year, because now I know how to do it right, because I actually took the course, ready, aim, fire. And hey, thank you, Wally. I want to be here.
That's awesome, bud. Well, I appreciate you sharing. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the academy.
I appreciate you very much. Thank you.
You bet, bud. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Talk to you.
So thank you so much for listening today. It means a lot you took time out of your day. I don't take that lightly. Understand very clearly that you're very busy. With that being said, if you want to continue your journey and learn more about 24/7 Mindset, if you're on Facebook, which I'm going to guess you are, then go to 24/7 Mindset on Facebook and join the private community. I do coaching tips on there on a daily basis, go from scripts on there to systems on there, models, and the ability to be able to grow and scale a business while you have a quality of life. Hope to see you there.